Welcome each one here tonight for this Committee of Adjustment meeting. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the land which we gather as the territory of the Nishnawbe, Ottawa, and Mississauga peoples. Confirmation of the agenda that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves the agenda for August 12th, 2024 public hearing as presented. May I have a mover? Councillor Van Hitterson, Councillor Whitfield, all in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none. Approval of minutes of the previous meeting that the Committee of Adjustment hereby adopts the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment hearing held May 6, 2024 as presented. Mover, Councillor Wright, Councillor Palmer. All in favor? Carried. That any decision reached by this committee cannot be used to set a precedent. Number 6, scheduled application file number MV 03-2024, location concession 1 part lot 42 RP 22 R5 243 part 4 Township of North Huron 150 Blythe Road Live. Applicant owner Chris Housen. At this time we welcome Hannah, our planner, to give us a presentation, please.
Great. Thank you to the committee for having me this evening. So as mentioned, the property is on Blythe Road in Blythe. The property is designated in zone residential low density. There is an existing dwelling on the property that's shown on this imagery. So this imagery is dated from 2020, and the proposal is for a detached accessory building, and the lot is about 1.5 acres in size. So the purpose of the requested variance, as mentioned, is to facilitate the construction of a detached accessory structure. And the applicant has also requested that they would like options for a future additional residential unit to also be included in a portion of the accessory building. And the proposed accessory building is approximately 2,285 square feet. The variances requested are to increase the building height from the permitted 6 meters to 6.22 meters, and to increase the building ground floor area size to be 102% of the main dwelling ground floor area from the permitted 75%. So that second provision there that speaks to restricting the ground floor area as a ratio of the main building, that is applicable when it's being considered for an additional residential unit. So the following just shows some site visit photos of the property looking from Blythe Road north. And the following is just a site plan showing the proposed location of the property and the proposed setback of the building, which to the north property line is a 30-foot setback, which is about 9.1 meters. So here are some elevations that show the design of the proposed building. The front of the building, as you can see, there is a mix of facade materials. The height is measured from the average between the eaves and the ridge of the roof. And the following shows the side profiles of the proposed building. As you can see, there is a grade change as you go towards the north of the property, which does reduce the height the further you go towards the north of the building. So the application was circulated as accordance with the Planning Act. So township staff have indicated no concerns. The drainage superintendent also has no concerns. County Public Works also have no concern, noting that another entrance onto Highway 25 or Blythe Road will not be granted, but this has not been proposed at this time. Neighbors and members of the public received circulation in the mail as well. There was a signpost on the property, and as of current, we have not received any comments in writing. The application was considered against the 4 tests of the minor variance. My report does go into detail in this, but concludes that the variances are minor in nature, are desirable development, and meet the intent of the zoning bylaw and the official plan. It maintains compatibility with the surrounding lots. The lot is also quite large in size, especially for a residential urban property, which does reduce the impact on neighboring properties, and the required setbacks are well exceeded, as well as the mixed grade and facade design of the building does help to reduce the visual impacts. So it is recommended that the minor variance application be approved, subject to the following conditions, all of which are standard conditions. So first, that the structure follow the footprint that was contained on the sketch accompanying the application, that the structure be generally constructed as shown in the elevations that accompanied the application, and the variance be valid for a period of 18 months from the date of decision. So this is the time granted to get a building permit. And just a reminder to the committee that a second motion to the effect of public and agency comments is required following the first motion. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And then I also will note that the applicant is in attendance.
Presentation, Hannah, our planner. And at this time, we'll go to 6.1.2, opportunity to comment on application by applicant or the agent. No, seeing none. Thank you, Chris. 6.1.3, opportunity to comment by others in attendance, and seeing none. 6.14, opportunity for questions, comments by committee of adjustment members. Are there any comments, questions from any of the members, please? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Hannah, how far away is it from the residence? What's the distance? I didn't, maybe it's in there, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, unfortunately, top of mind, I'm not aware of what the distance is from the residence. I'm just going to zoom in on the sketch and just see. So it's 92 feet from the edge of the residence is the distance. I will also just note that because the two buildings are on the same property, there's no required setback in the building code, but there's certainly, yeah, it's 92 feet between the two.
Okay, yeah, I brought that up. Sorry, follow up. I brought it up because we do have a rule about how many meters, right? It doesn't matter where, has to be X number of meters, right? So as long as it's within that.
Right, yes. So through the Reeve, yeah, great question. So for additional residential units that are in urban areas and residential, we don't have a setback that they have to be between the two, namely because often the lots are small in size, so they will be close. And we're not as much worried about the pressure to sever in this case versus on the agricultural properties. That's why we have that 60-meter setback is because they're not permitted to sever in the agricultural areas. We want to keep them as close as possible and also reducing impact on MDS, which is not really as much of a factor in the residential area. So that wasn't as much of a consideration, but great question.
Any other questions from any of the members? I think everything was very clear in the presentation. Appreciate that. Okay, summary of comments and recommendations of Huron County Planning and Development Department. Again, go ahead.
Great, thanks. So if the committee wishes to concur with staff's recommendation that it be approved subject to conditions, it's recommended that option A2 be selected, that no public comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision, and that option B3 be selected with respect to agency comments, that agency comments were received in support of the application, the effect of which resulted in a decision to approve the application.
Okay. Thank you. 6.1.6, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves minor variance application MV03-2024 as it applies to concession 1 part lot 42 RP 22R 5243 part 4 Township of North Huron 150 Blythe Road. Applicant owner Chris Housen with conditions set out in the report represented by Hannah Homer, planner at the August 12th, 2024 Committee of Adjustment hearing. May I have a mover? Deputy Reeve, Councillor McBurney, all in favor? Carried. At this time, I'll turn motion number 2 over to Hannah. Just have it ready.
Yep. So yeah, with respect to the motion, it's selected that option A2 be selected, no public comments were received, and that B3 be selected, that supportive agency comments were received.
Thank you. May I have a mover? Councillor Palmer, Councillor Whitfield, all in favor? Carried. Reminder of the appeal period, minor variance procedure following public hearing. The Secretary Treasurer sends within 10 days a certified copy of the decision indicated the last day of appealing to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT, to the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing if requested, each person who appeared in person or by counsel at the hearing and who filed with the Secretary Treasurer a written request for notice of decision. If no appeal lodged after the 20-day objection period has expired and no appeal has been lodged, the decision of the Committee of Adjustment is final and binding. The Secretary Treasurer shall notify the applicant. If a notice of appeal is lodged, members of the public have the right to appeal the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. Only the applicant and Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, a specified person under the Planning Act, or a public body that has an interest in the matter may appeal the decision. If within 20 days of the Committee of Adjustment making a decision, an appeal is lodged with the Secretary Treasurer outlining the reasons for such an appeal, and said appeal is accompanied by the required fee of $400, the Committee of Adjustment no longer retains jurisdiction over the application. If a proper appeal is lodged, the Secretary Treasurer is required to provide a proper notice to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. Number 8, adjournment. That there has been no further business before the Committee of Adjustment, August 12th, 2024, public hearing be hereby adjourned at 5:41. May I have a mover? Counselor Wright, Counselor Whitfield,